All right, guys, welcome in. Let's Talk Sports podcast, YouTube. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Also follow on my podcast as well. Let's Talk Sports with the same name. So we didn't have a fight last week, but we have a UFC Fight Night, and we didn't have our special segment that I've been starting for the past couple weeks, Who You Got segment. So be looking for that to drop tomorrow at 9 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning. And make sure you like, make sure you post something on there and comment, whatever you want. Tell me why you're picking that fighter, Lewis versus Teixeira. Be looking for that at 6 a.m. tomorrow, Friday morning. All right? Now we got UFC Fight Night, Lewis versus Teixeira, UFC Pickems show coming up right now. All right, hope you guys are ready for some UFC news. Let's get into it. Alice Periera, not related to Alex Periera. No relation at all whatsoever, but she is known as the Golden Girl, 19 years old, coming into the UFC, going to be fighting in September at UFC Noche. As you take a look at some of her highlights, she's knocked out pretty much every opponent. She's making her UFC debut. She's 5-0, undefeated in MMA. Well, 6-1 as MMA, and 1-1 in the UFC at Noche. UFC September 13th at Frostbank Center in San Antonio, Texas. And she's only 19 years of age, ready to go. So the previous record was held by Chan Mi Zhong when she debuted against JJ Aldrich back in June of 2017. She was only 19 years old and 9 months and 13 days. Alice is 19 years, 8 months, and 24 days, according to Tapology, when the fight will be happening. You'll see the video and stuff where she's getting a phone call from her coach, Mickey. She's super excited. Now, she's fighting Rendon. She's 37. She'll compete for the first time in 30 months. So, Rendon hasn't fought in 30 months. That's over 2 years. Now, she made her debut back in September 2023, and she won a split decision against Tamara Vidal before she lost the unanimous decision against Daria back in March of last year. So the full Noche lineup, Diego Lopez versus Jean Silva. We won't go into all that, but I just want to know your thoughts on Alice Periera. Again, this is an upper echelon in the UFC. A lot of fighters have crumbled, and the bantamweight women's division needs a lot of help. Because Kayla Harrison's 35. Amanda Nunes will be coming in to fight, but I think Amanda might be done after that. I don't know if she'll continue to fight or maybe 2 or 3 more fights. We need up-and-coming younger females in the bantamweight. Alice Periera seems like she could be one of them. Let's see what she does. All right, now we're going to go into Alexander Volkanovski. So he gets real about his health issue after a KO loss to Islam. I should have had a break. They were talking about all this. Good guy, bad guy, the UFC Unfiltered. They were all talking about how Alexander Volkanovski could be coming back a little too soon. So he lost his 145-pound title against Ilia Topuria at UFC 298 back in February of last year. And he was recently crowned lightweight king, knocked out Volkanovski during a second round of his fight. And then admits he should have taken, soon after losing Islam Makhachev, should have taken a break. Now he admits recently sat down with the chat of UFC's greatest ever fighters during an interview and talking about with the champion Demetrius Johnson. Volkanovski also noted that although he was unconscious for longer after facing El Matador, he actually experienced more concussion issues following his fight against Makhachev a few months prior. So he said, "I feel like I had more of a concussion from the Islam one," Volkanovski told Demetrius Johnson. So Volk should have waited a little longer. He is not doing that great with the concussions. I'm sure he's probably cleared concussion protocol by now, but he needs to take some time, get his health right, maybe another year or so before we'll see him. Now, this is some big news right now. President Trump actually just a few days ago was saying that the UFC will be going onto the White House lawn to fight for America's 250th anniversary, which is going to be freaking awesome. And I'm just going to talk about, I think it's freaking dope. There's a lot of haters out there. I think it's freaking awesome. Has anything ever happened, if you can recall, has anything ever happened on the White House lawn, sports related? Anything? I don't know. The Muhammad Ali fight, I don't know where that was. I don't think anything has ever happened on the White House lawn. So here's some potential wishful, unofficial, fantasy White House card. Main event, Tom Aspinall versus John Jones. We've been talking about that. Tom Aspinall's done talking about John Jones. But are we going to wait another year and they just sit out and wait until the UFC White House card? That'd be pretty sick. Jones versus Aspinall on the lawn, White House lawn. America versus England. That'd be sick. The co-main, what do you guys think about this? Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. What do you think about that? That'd be pretty awesome. Main card underneath that, Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal 2. That would be possibly a good one. Israel Adesanya versus Sean Strickland 2. Now that one, I would love to see that one. And you know I love Sean Strickland. Follow him on Instagram. Henry Cejudo and Brandon Moreno. Mexican versus Mexican on the White House lawn. What do you think about that? That would be pretty cool. Or Justin Gaethje, Charles Oliveira, Bryce Mitchell, Montel Jackson. Bring in Bo Nickel against Andre Petroski. Derek Lewis, he's fighting this weekend. We're going to be talking about him here in a second. Against Tai Tuivasa 2. Potentially, possibly, on the UFC White House lawn. Wouldn't that be pretty sweet? All right, we're done with some UFC news. Get out of here. Now we're going to go into the main card. Not talking about the prelims. Going to go into the main card. Junior Tafa versus Tuco Tacos. I hope I'm saying that right. Now, Junior Tafa coming in at a minus 162 at light heavyweight. We don't know as of right now when it closes, but as of right now, he's a minus 162. And the England dude is at plus 136. Taking a look at Junior Tafa. I love the nickname, the Juggernaut. I hope he lives up to his name. He just won back in October of last year, and he lost to Walker back in August of last year, and then he went back-to-back losses against De Lima as well. So he went 1-2 in 2024, and hopefully he kicks some ass and beats up on this England guy. That'd be freaking awesome. He looks really good on these highlights. Place of birth is Brisbane, Australia. He fights at a NTG Fight and Fitness. Kickboxer. He's young. He's only 28 years old. Fun facts here. He turned pro in 2022. 6 fights with a KO. 4 first-round finishes. And won two of his last 4. 4 wins in 2 minutes or less. And he does have a younger brother in the UFC, Justin Tafa. I think he's fighting. I'm not sure if he's fighting on his card, but I just saw him recently, so he might be fighting here soon. So, there you go. I'm picking Junior Tafa. The Juggernaut gets the win. It's going to be a back-and-forth battle, I think, on the feet. But I think he's going to get the win. First-round knockout. Let's go. All right. Now we're taking a look going into the heavyweight division. Vitor Petrino versus Austin Lane. Now, I will give you a heads up on this. NFL fighters going into the UFC have not really fared that well, not that I know of. If you know any, let me know. But Vitor's 11-2. Dude's a badass. Check out his highlights. He's a skull crusher. He doesn't mess around, but he's coming off some losses. And so is Austin Lane. So this could be a stand-up banger for Vitor Petrino and Austin Lane. So let's take a look at his history. He's lost to Jacoby and he's lost to Lionheart Smith. 2 losses. He didn't do very good at the end of 24, but he did beat Pedro by decision. So fighting out of Santa Lucia, and he fights in a CM system. He's a striker, 27 years old. He's a young guy. Some heavyweight prospects coming up. Turned pro in 2019, 7 wins by KO, 1 win by submission, 4 first-round finishes. UFC heavyweight debut, 1 2-fight losing streak. Last Dana White Contender Series win was second round KO victory over UFC Antigulov. He's reported a 3-1 record. I don't know what's going to happen, but he's a big favorite here at a minus 750, and I really don't want to go against the American in Nashville, but he's at a plus 525. He's coming off some losses as well. Vitor Petrino, as you're seeing, like I told you, these highlights are freaking sick. Really awesome. I think that he's going to get it. I'm not going to go against a minus 750 fight card. The Brazilian takes it in Nashville. Now let's take a look at Nate Landwehr versus Morgan Shire. So Nate Landwehr, United States versus France. According to this, he's at a plus 220. I'm going to have the odds going across the screen here in a second, the last 3 fights. But in the featherweight division, Nate Landwehr looking pretty sick. They call him the train, and there's a reason why they call him the train, because he's going to run right through you. He's trying to take your head off. He's going to take your head off standing up, or he's going to take your head off going to the ground. Either knockouts, finishes. I don't think the dude even goes to a decision as you're looking. He gets you submitted. He did get a decision back. Last time he went to a decision, back on August 13th of 2022 against Onama. Majority decision. He lost to Choi, though, back in December, but he did win against Emers by knockout in the first round. So he's going to be coming after you. Now, Dan Ige, he did beat him back in 23, but he only had 2 fights last year. He's trying to get his first fight of 2025 off with a win. And out of Clarksville, United States, he's pretty close. I think that's Tennessee. I believe that's Tennessee. So he's going to be a local right there. Turned pro back in 2012. 9 wins by KO, 2 by submission. Has won 12 of his last 16. 3 first round finishes. And he owns a 2016 win over Diego Saraiva. So give me the Nate train all day at featherweight against the Frenchy dude. All right, let's go. Going into the featherweight, staying in featherweight. Number 14 ranked in the world at featherweight, Calvin Kattar versus Steve Garcia. Kattar at a plus 105, Steve Garcia at a minus 125. And odds are going to be changing up and down as I'm doing the show. And then I picked the odds that are going across the screen right now as you're watching Calvin Kattar's highlights. Dude can straight up brawl. I love his 1-2s. His 1-2s are really nice. His hooks are really nice. So you got to watch out, keep your guard up for this guy, because he's going to knock your head off. And he can do kicks as well. Dude's a freaking beast. Taking a look at his previous fights. He did lose against Zalal back in February this year, just a few months ago, by decision. He lost to Sterling, and he's lost to Allen. He's on a how many fight losing streak? 3, 4. He's on a 4-fight losing streak. Calvin Kattar has not won and since January 15th of 2022 against Chikadze. And that was by decision. Calvin Kattar is going to be hungry, and I mean hungry, for a victory here. And I think he's going to get it. I really do. He's either going to get it or he's going to get kicked out of the UFC. I don't know. But check out UFC Nashville. Hope you guys are down there. My sister actually lives right by it. So hopefully she got me tickets and find me down there. But anyways, I'm just kidding. Calvin Kattar gets the win. Now we're going to go into the welterweight co-main event. Number 12, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I did not know he was that old, by the way. Versus Gabriel Bonfim. Now, Bonfim is at a minus 410. This is going to be my pick of the day at welterweight. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. He lost to Buckley, but everybody loses to Buckley. So, he just lost back in October of last year. And then Rakhmonov, he lost to Rakhmonov, but he did get the win against Kevin Holland back in 2022. It took a little. He hasn't fought. He only fought like one time in 23, and he only fought one time last year. And he's coming in 2025. He's going to get a victory. I believe he's going to get a victory. Let's go. So look, the losses that he lost to, I mean, he lost to Bilal Muhammad. He's lost to Gilbert Burns back in when Gilbert Burns was a freaking beast. He beat Neal, but he's been bouncing around a little bit. He doesn't fight that much, only like once a year or so. As of right now, like I said, he's getting older. So he's 42 years old. This might be the last time we see him. And He's obviously known for the side kicks. 8 wins by KO. Turned pro back in 2010. Owns a combined 57-0 kickboxing record, which includes 40 knockouts. Dude's pretty crazy. Has trained with Anderson Silva, Weidman, George St. Pierre, Rashad Evans, Nate Marquardt, Keith Jardine. The Dean, how is that nickname? The Dean of Mean, Keith Jardine. I love that nickname. But I think he's going to get it. He's got 8 wins by knockout, 1 by submission, 5 first-round finishes. Striking is really good at 46%. Takedown accuracy is 42%. So without getting into all kinds of details, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson had a plus 320. Come on, let's go. One final shot to the welterweight title. Moving up to the heavyweight. Derek Lewis versus Talison Teixeira. And Lewis is at a plus 210 with Teixeira at a minus 280. I don't like those odds from my boy. So let's take a look at Derek Lewis, the Black Beast. 23 wins by knockout. If any stat sticks out at you for Derek Lewis, is 23 knockouts. Take a look at his last 3 previous fights. Gets the KO in the 3rd round at Nacimiento. Lost to Almeida by a decision. And he gets the knockout at 33 seconds against De Lima. This is coming back to 2023. He only fought once last year. Out of New Orleans, taking a look, has won 16 of his last 24. He owns a 2012 knockout against Jared Rochart. Pros in 2010. 23 wins by knockout, 1 win by submission, 9 first-round finishes. Most knockouts in UFC history, like I said, with 15. And that 23 wins by knockout really sticks out at you. And the most in UFC history at 15. So, Derek Lewis, the Black Beast, what is he going to do? Is he going to get down to his skivvies? Is he going to moon the audience like he did that one time? I'm really excited to see what he does if he does get to win. Obviously, he's going to pound the octagon, do his little lick with the belly rub thing going on it. Then he might take his shorts off and throw them around again. I don't know. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. He's always exciting to watch, always fun to talk to. Pretty good guy. All right. There's your show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Love you guys. God bless. What do? You tip the waitress.